Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality and best-selling author, is my co-host today. We'll be answering your questions. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Chris is in Baltimore. Hey, Chris, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. This is amazing for me. I actually grew up listening to your show. My parents turned their life around with your advice, so I'm really appreciative.
Well, I'm honored. How can we help today, sir?
So I'm 22. I graduate college on Sunday.
Yay! What's your degree in?
It's in economics.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I am lucky enough to have no debt from school, and I have a job locked down. I also have 3 months' expenses saved. And my fiance is in school to be a physician's assistant currently, and because of her program, she'll incur some significant debt. So I'm trying to weigh saving for retirement once I start my job versus saving to be ready to hit that debt hard once we get married.
Chris, when do you guys get married?
It's not going to be until she graduates, so it's over a year away.
Okay. Well, for you, I mean, I would definitely be focusing on your retirement right now, because praying everything, I'm sure you sound very responsible, very in love, so I'm sure this wedding is going to happen. But what I would do is still take advantage of the 401k at the company if you have that, or a Roth IRA. And then on the side, if you want to save some money, just in general, and what you can earmark that for a year from now when you guys get married, that you can throw at her debt for sure, because it'll be your debt together at that point. Or you could even use it as a down payment on a home later in life too. I mean, whatever you want to do, but just earmarking it on the side, but not... I would still fund retirement.
How much student loan does she have? Debt is she going to have?
It's likely going to be at or around $100,000.
Ooh, that might change the answer. Okay, and you make what?
I'll be making $65,000 a year.
Okay, and then she'll be making probably about that when she comes out, roughly too. So you have $130,000 income with $100,000 in student loan debt. Yeah, with it being that much, I might delay retirement for 1 year.
You would pause it, really?
Yeah, and just let's pile up cash and get ready for the marriage. Because as soon as you walk down the aisle, you're $100,000 in debt. And you got to get that cleaned up then before you start retirement. And you're 22, you got plenty of time to get to retirement. Either answer is going to be okay. There's neither one of us are, neither one of our answers are wrong. It's just a matter of I think it sure would be cool if out of $65,000 in 18 months you had put aside 60 and you only had to knock out 40 when you got married. Well, you'd write a check after you walk down the aisle for 60 because you had a pile of money laying there, and then you'd have to knock out 40 when you got married, and she passes her bars and her licensing and all that, and is able to go forward. But yeah, I because you're going to have to stop retirement after. If you're only going to do it for 1 year.
That's fair.
And then you're going to stop it and get, because you're going to be back in debt. But either way is okay. I mean, you could do your Roth IRA for 1 year, like Rachel's saying. It's not a wrong answer here. The fact that you're 22, you're graduating in economics, she's graduating as a PA, and you're even asking these questions makes you a genius. I mean, you're just so far ahead of the rest of your classmates, because they're going to wander around, some of them, for a decade before they can find a checkbook. And so you're just way ahead, dude. So neither one of these things is going to mess you up. Good call. Thank you, man, and congratulations. Rondell is in New York City. Hi, Rondell. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call. I'm well. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
So I just sold my house, and I'm looking to purchase a new home. So I'm wondering if I should get a two-family home that's going to be a bit more expensive. Obviously, real estate in New York is super expensive, but I plan on renting out half of it, and that income that I project should bring me down to that 25% debt to income ratio. So I was wondering, what are your thoughts on that, or should I just go for like a regular house?
I probably would go for a regular house, and the reason I would do that personally is a two-family home. The good news is your renter is next door, and you can watch out for what's going on. The bad news is your renter is next door, and if they want something, they're just going to be knocking on your door. I mean, so it's a little bit awkward at times to be in the same property. The other thing is a two-family home, 90% of the time that it's sold is not owner occupied, meaning it's going to be an investor buying a duplex, buying a two-unit product. And so your buyer on that kind of a thing is always an investor, most always, and it's therefore they're looking for a deal. Your buyer on a single family when you get ready to resell is retail. It's Joe and Susie just got married, wants that house or whatever. And they pay retail. So single families of the exact same price will typically appreciate better than a duplex will, just because of who the end user is when you get ready to flip out of it. But it's not a bad idea. It's not the end of the world. But, sometimes all we look at is the math, and we're going, oh, the renter's going to help me pay, and that's going to just be grand. And it's like, no. Yeah. It's there's a lot of crap involved in all that. That's not going to necessarily be fun. So, I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't personally because of quality of life. I just wouldn't want to live right next door to my renter. It's just, I just personally wouldn't want to do that. And I've got a bunch of rental property, and I'm not a snob. I've been a renter. That's not the point. But that's an awkward relationship.
Well, it's the convenience of what they have towards you.
Yeah.
To do what they need.
I mean, you're pulling in the driveway, and they're both pulling in the driveway. And it's like, it's just a weird next door neighbor. Weird relationship. So, but you can do whatever. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's certainly not a slam dunk. Oh yes, definitely take the income, because there's more to it than just that when you're renting property. Open phones at 888-825-5225. And by the way, once you learn how to work with people in the real estate business, and you learn how to interview a potential renter for one of your properties, like you were interviewing a team member to come on board with your company, it's not dissimilar. You can learn to weed out people that are going to be a problem, and you can learn to put in really high-quality folks. A lot of the rental property that we have, Rachel's husband, Winston, runs our rentals, runs all of our real estate, and he does a great job screening the tenants in. And it's not unusual for one of our tenants to have been in a property 5 years and are friends. They become friends because they're good people, you know. And so, you can get, you never hear me say we're putting down renters. We're not, because I've been one, and we work with a lot of really high-quality people that, for whatever reason at this point in their life, they're renting. So you can get, if you do the proper screening, you can get a good situation. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. One of the things that makes the Dave Ramsey Show unique from other shows is that we genuinely care about our listeners. That's why we are very intentional about choosing our advertisers. Blinds.com offers high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices. And then their customer service is truly unbeatable. They make it simple to shop for blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping right to your door. And Blinds.com will help you every step of the way, just like they've helped thousands of my listeners with free design help by phone and online. Plus, they guarantee the perfect fit. Go today and take advantage of this week's special offer. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, two-time best-selling author, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. We're answering your questions about your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Her new book, Rachel Cruz's, Know Yourself, Know Your Money, will come out in just a couple of weeks. January the 5th, we will be shipping it. It is on pre-sale right now, and a whole bunch of you have bought it ahead of time. Thank you, tens of thousands of you, and we appreciate it. If you pre-purchase it before January the 5th, highly recommend that, by the way. Not only does it help us, it helps you. That's the important thing. You are going to get a call with a Ramsey Preferred Financial Coach. This is for a limited time. You're going to get the Know Yourself, Know Your Money audiobook, the Know Yourself, Know Your Money ebook, and an exclusive video lesson from Rachel Cruz as well. $150 in bonus items when you buy a $20 book. So why do we go to all that trouble? Why do we bribe you like that to get you to buy a book ahead of time? Because it's a great book, #1. You're going to get it anyway. You might as well get all the free stuff up front because it helps us with the bestseller list to get a bunch of them pre-sold. And so it really does. And so that's why we push it like this, and that's why we give you so much free stuff.
Okay. Can I interject?
Sure, you're allowed to. It's your book.
Okay. And the reason for the bestsellers is not just for the title of it. It's because if a book gets on a bestseller list, other outlets pick it up, they see it, they read it. So then other people hear about the book to help them.
Yeah.
It makes it, I don't want people to think, oh, I want to be a best. I don't know. I just.
Well, you're already been #1 twice. You don't need another one.
But to do it, so that the book.
It causes the book to be able to help more people.
More. That's right. Yeah. So that it's out in the world more. Because again, when people can understand why they handle money the way they do, everything from how they grew up to their tendencies, their dreams, their fears, all of it. It gives really this validity of what we've been talking about, that personal finance is 80% behavior. It's only 20% head knowledge. But knowing why you have the behaviors you have help you change those behaviors that are unhealthy and win with money faster. So it's a fun new deep dive into how to look at money. And yeah, when you pre-order, you get $50 worth of free stuff.
So check it out. Know Yourself, Know Your Money at DaveRamsey.com. Washington, D.C., Todd is on the line. Hey, Todd, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Great, man. How can we help?
All right. Well, we actually live in Alexandria, Virginia. Thinking about refinancing our house, and I'm trying to decide if it's worth it. I wanted to give you some current scenarios and see what you think.
What's your current interest rate?
Current interest rate, I financed last year at the end of 2019. I got 3.25 on a 15-15 ARM.
Okay.
I've been paying extra because me and my wife are in our late 50s and we want to get this damn thing paid off as quick as we can.
And I like that. Okay, so it's a 3.25 ARM.
Yes, 15-15 through my credit union.
Yeah. And what's the offer on the refinance?
So the credit union's offering 2.5. I was going to switch to a 15-year fix, no points. They're telling me approximate closing costs, because they currently hold my escrow and all that, would probably be $6,500 to $8,000. That's the ballpark.
What's your balance?
The closing costs. We owe $384. We only.
The $6,500 included escrow setup, but you get your other escrow account back. What's your closing costs? Right. Not the $6,500. Be about $3,200.
I'd say it's about that, right?
Yeah,
about 35, I think.
Okay, so
right.
Yes, you're going to do this. Here's why. Here's why. Let's walk through the math. All right, rough and dirty. You're saving 3/4 of a point. So I'm going to just say 1% of 385 is $3,800. You're going to save $3,800 the first year.
Gotcha.
You broke even after year one. Everything after year one's gravy on the biscuit. You're going to save $3,800 or so every year until you get the stinking thing paid off. Not quite, because your balance is going to go down, but overall, I mean, you're going to save tens of thousands of dollars over a 10-year period of time by doing this refi. Absolutely, I would do this.
Right, and right now I've been paying $1,100 extra every month, and right now that's just paying that extra is saving me about almost $119,000 in interest. And if I switch to the 15 and pay just another about $300 extra a month to keep the same payment I'm doing right now,
exactly,
I'm shaving off another $40,000 in interest. So I'm thinking, seems like a win-win to me.
That's the shortening of the mortgage, which is one analysis. But the way you analyze whether to refinance is simply your interest saved the difference in the two rates times your balance, versus your closing costs.
Gotcha.
And that tells you whether to do it or not. And you have a 1 year break-even point on a break-even analysis on that. And if you're going to stay in this house, that's a no-brainer. You do that.
And considering it's an ARM versus
getting rid of that ARM is a benefit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's never do an ARM, folks. Especially in the lowest interest rates in 50 years. Where do you think it's going to adjust from here? Up. We just don't do ARMs. No. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Ryan is in Roanoke. Hi, Ryan. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dave. How are you now?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hey, so I graduated this spring from Virginia Tech, and I'm starting to take a look at paying off my student loans. And I was introduced to some of your videos through YouTube, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about that.
Cool.
How much student loan debt do you have, Ryan?
Just over 50,000, I think, like 51.
Okay.
Or so.
Do you have any other debt besides that?
A car loan or a couple thousand that's still left.
Okay.
But paying off quickly, yeah.
Yeah, and is the 50,000 student loans, is it broken up into multiple loans, or is it one large student loan?
It's multiple loans, and I guess that's kind of where the main question lies. I've been saving up to try to take care of the highest interest rate, one of those loans, to save myself some money. And after watching your videos about the debt snowball, I'm not sure if I should do that or take care of a couple of the smaller ones with lower interest rates first.
Yeah, and sorry, one last question. How much do you have saved? You said you've been saving to throw at the highest interest rate, or you're just saying as you're getting money, that's what you're paying off first?
Saving to do that, I still have a couple months, or I guess now only about a month until they actually turn on 6 months after I graduate.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
I think my payments start in January.
How much do you have in your savings account?
Right now, 11,000. After an end of year bonus, I think probably more like 13.
Okay, and
awesome.
What is your smallest student loan?
6,700, I think.
Perfect. Okay, so you probably heard this on YouTube. We're going to list your debts, smallest to largest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So today, I would pay off your car and your smallest student loan.
And you think that would be the best, the best way? I mean, I'm definitely a saver. I know Rachel talks about, are you a saver or a spender? I'm definitely a saver, so I don't think there's a problem to keep going with it, but you think that I should take care of the smallest loan and the car first?
Yeah, because when you look at the debt snowball versus the debt avalanche, is another way of looking at the highest interest rate, what you're doing.
Sure.
With the debt snowball, not only have studies come out to show that it is the fastest way to get out of debt, but what ends up happening is you start knocking out those smallest debts, and you eliminate it completely. And what you're not factoring in is just the emotional toll and what happens to human behavior when you start to get quick wins. And so by knocking off those smallest debt first, you're actually doing so much to keep you motivated. And Ryan, as a saver, we're going to tell you, if you have $13,000 saved off your bonus, putting it all towards debt except for $1,000 is going to make you feel very uncomfortable. So just heads up on that too. But that gives you an urgency as well. So by paying off smallest to largest, I'm telling you, the behavior change that occurs in you, the motivation continues to get those quick wins.
Absolutely. Now let's do a little math, okay? $52,000, $53,000 minus 13 is 40. And you make, what do you say, made 51? Yeah.
I can't remember.
I don't know if he told us what his income was. But so how quick are you going to play off 40? Maximum of 18 months. You're going to do it real fast now, dude. Get after it. Get it! This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're financially conscious, you know that healthcare expenses can take a big bite out of your budget. Christian Healthcare Ministries, or CHM, is here to help trim those expenses and make sure your family is cared for. CHM is not health insurance, but it is Christians helping other Christians by sharing each other's medical bills.
Most people have the means to pay for basic doctor services, but when it comes to something on a much larger scale, say several $1,000s for surgery or a hospitalization, folks are worried they'll be left to try and find a way to pay for that themselves.
Not too long ago, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and they really came through. So far, we've had over $180,000 worth of bills and got close to 75% in discounts. CHM shared the rest of the expenses.
To see if CHM is right for you and your budget, check out chministries.org/budget.
Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Even if you mismeasure or you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your window blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run all the time, you'll save even more. Use the promo code, the magic word, Ramsey, and you'll get a better deal.
Today's question comes from Monica in Nebraska. We are on baby step 2, and we are in a large amount of debt because of various stupid decisions. My husband is really not interested in working this program. I am the one that does all the financial stuff, and I am the main breadwinner. He has basically said, tell him what can be spent on various categories, and he will make it happen. So I've decided to work the debt snowball. Is it wrong to move forward when he isn't really supportive? Well, so Monica, the deal is when you're married, when you both can work together and be on the same team and go towards the same goals, you have the same vision, you're going to get there faster because you're both going to be willing to sacrifice. You're both thinking about it day in and day out. Like that is what you're working towards as a team. So you're going to get progress a lot faster. It doesn't sound like he's not necessarily not supportive. He's kind of like, just tell me where I can spend it and I'll spend it. And that's kind of it. He's kind of checked out. I wish he was more emotionally checked out. My husband is
not interested in working this program.
But he said, just tell him what can be spent in various categories and he can do it.
I would tell him, I'm not your mother. Be a man. Go down to Walmart on aisle 3 and pick you up a backbone, son.
Okay.
No, really.
Monica.
You little wuss.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously. You need to step up. You need to man up and walk with your wife beside her.
Yes, he does, but he's not asking the question. It's Monica. So what does Monica do?
I know.
Well,
Monica needs to call him out.
No.
Can you imagine if I walked in and told your mother that I didn't really care and you just do whatever you want and you take care of everything and I'm just going to sit over here in the corner and wish? Can you imagine what your mother would do? She would unjoint my butt. That wouldn't even come close. No, really. I mean, call him out.
I know, but welcome to this is a lot of people's situations though in America. It really is,
and it sucks.
The woman has become the one. She is the CFO of the household. I mean, she really is the one doing the money, doing everything in regards to money. And so you have to realize, women out there, number one, that when your husband is on board, you win faster. So what do you do about it? Number two, go and I would say sit down and have a frank conversation, as respectful as you would like, or as Davism as you would like to take it. That's up to you. But to say, hey, here's what I'm feeling. Here's what I'm thinking. Here are my fears. Here are my whys. Why do I want to win? Why do I want to get out of debt? And talk to him. Have a relationship. Have communication so you guys can get on the same team. And so when that doesn't happen, I'd also say bring in a third party. I mean, at that point, you have more marriage issues than money issues because you're not willing to work together. And in marriage, that's what marriage is. You are living life together and you're unified in every subject, including money.
So Monica, Rachel's right about one thing. You are 100% more capable than he is. You have the natural gifting. You're the CFO of the household. I am not discounting that at all. And so you're the one that's probably going to implement the plan. You're probably even going to design the plan. But this idea that he gets to sit over in the corner and be spoon-fed whatever just tell me what I can spend. Oh, brother, that's just ridiculous. That's absolutely absurd. And so you're probably the one that has the greater talent in this area, and obviously the greater concern for. That's not going to change. But he does need to step up and say, all right, I'll walk with you in this dream. I'm going to come with you. Let's look together at the budget. You do the budget, and I'll look at it with you. You're probably going to be the one that produces it because she's the CFO of the household. I don't care whether it's a man or the woman that's the CFO. That's not my point. But I got to tell you, she's going to end up really frustrated with him being a wuss like this, and it's going to damage their relationship because I have coached people in these situations after ladies try to do this for 10 years, and she finally is tired of being married to a little boy.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying earlier, though, is a lot of women possibly listening right this second is exactly in her situation.
Yeah.
They're finding themselves that their husbands do not want to participate, don't want to go along with it. Not that they're saying, oh, I want to.
No, he's just passive.
It's yes, it's
just passive.
It's passive, yeah.
And that's just gross. Seriously, it is.
Well, and this is and
it's the wussification of America.
And the deal too is that we say life problems usually masquerade themselves as money problems. So there's probably other areas in her marriage, I'm assuming, that she's frustrated that he's not, whether it's kids or whatever the situation is. That's the personality. That's the roles that have been placed, not just with money. And so being able to help him get on board is going to help also the marriage.
Exactly.
Because
it's a prerequisite to you winning here.
Yep,
I mean,
absolutely.
You are not going to be able to pull this off with the formula that you were using. It's not going to work. I mean, it may work for a little while, but eventually it's going to blow up for relational reasons and financial reasons. He may get tired of being dictated to at some point. Being told, well, my wife won't let me do this. I mean, what kind of, gross. And so, it's going to blow up. It's not going to work. When we've done it too long, I mean, 30 years of doing this, I've watched this situation unfold over and over again. So what he has to do, and you have to call him out on this, or go see a third party, a marriage counselor together. What Rachel's saying is exactly right on that. You have got to go and he doesn't need to become a nerd, and he doesn't need to become the one that drives the budget, but he's got to be in agreement and has to actively, emotionally vote and say, all right, I look at that. I agree that taking those steps is going to take us to a dream I agree on. That's a lot different than and then you go and do the stuff. That's fine. No problem with that. But when he's just sitting back and you're trying to drag him along and he just gets his little allowance, oh my gosh.
It's true. It's true. I agree with that.
Joe is with us in Rochester, New York. Hey, Joe, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I'm on baby step 2. I've been watching you on YouTube for a few months, and I noticed you had a consistent message of saying, be a contributing adult. So I recently accepted a promotion at my job, and I believe I can afford to move out. My family thinks this is silly, and they say I should live at home until I pay off all my debt. I wanted to know if you agree.
How old are you, Joe?
25.
25. How much debt do you have?
$45,000.
And what do you make?
About 55.
What do you do?
I provide solutions for my company.
Well, I guess we all do. Okay.
Are you married? Married, kids?
No.
Single? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, so...
Go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead. We've been arguing through this whole hour. You go ahead.
Okay. So mathematically, could you save money on rent for a year or two, live with your parents, use what you'd pay for rent to throw out the debt, get out of debt faster? Yes, absolutely. But there is something to be said about being a self-sustaining adult and saying, hey, out of my budget, I have rent and I have things I have to pay that I'm taking care of myself. And there's a level of dignity there, Joe, that I think is really important. So I don't know. I'm kind of one way or the other. I mean, I probably would be for you to go and just pay rent and start living on your own. But if you're like really aggressive with this debt and you want to get it paid off, you're making sacrifices, you're doing whatever you have to do, and there's that intensity because you're working towards a goal, I wouldn't be mad about that.
All 3 of my kids, Joe, did extremely well. I'm very proud of all 3 of them, including Rachel and Winston. And they were all hard workers, and they were all responsible with money when they were under my care in college. When they came out of college and they went on their own with their own income, and they were continued to be responsible with money, and they took on some extra expenses to not live under our roof to do that. In all three of these responsible young adults cases, I saw them grow up 2 more notches when they were on their own. Something happens.
Okay.
When you got to pay your own light bill, and you got to wash your own clothes, and you got to pay the rent and deal with the landlord, and something else happens. And so I would do it. I'd move out within the next few months. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not being mean to anybody, but it's not just a math thing. It's a developmental adult thing. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Aaron is in Tacoma, Washington. Hey, Aaron, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How about you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Yeah, I just found you on Black Friday, and I have dove into yours and Rachel's books and been listening like crazy.
Wow, thank you.
But I'm still finishing baby step 1 on my 4 walls. We're required to re-roof.
Mm-hmm.
However, as I'm approaching baby step 2, I have a possible funeral and burial in the near future.
Oh.
My estranged father has placed me as executor. I don't know how much these things cost, and I know there won't be any cash in his estate until life insurance is paid out.
Mm-hmm.
So how much does that cost? And I would assume that I need to start saving for that before I jump into baby step 2.
Where is he?
He actually was in hospice in California, but one of my brothers picked him up and brought him back to Washington.
Okay. Call the funeral home in the town that he's in.
Okay.
And just tell them you have 2 problems. Number 1, you have an estate that is going to be formed soon. He's in hospice. And there's not much money in the estate. So this sounds awful, but I'm going to say it out loud, okay? It's what I would do if I were in your shoes. I'm going to call the funeral home and go, I need the budget funeral. What's the bottom line? And you're probably going to find $5,000 to $7,000. Okay?
Okay.
As long as you're not in some kind of major metro area and you get a hold of some kind of crazy funeral home. But most of them have a budget process, okay, for families that don't have any money.
Okay.
You can explore all kinds of different options, cremation or whatever. It's up to you. And look into those things. But gather up the dollars associated with the 3 best options, and then you can think about the 3 best options, okay?
Okay.
And that's your first thing. And then you know what your target is. Then the second thing is ask them if they will accept tell them there's a life insurance policy involved, but there's no cash in the estate. Will they accept an assignment of the life insurance proceeds up to the cost of the funeral? Most funeral homes do that. Okay.
An assignment of
you would
life insurance?
You would just say, okay, look here, who's the beneficiary, the estate or you?
I am.
Okay. So you can take them policy and show them, I am the beneficiary on this policy, and it pays X number of dollars, a lot more than you're going to need for the funeral, right? Okay.
Yes.
And you go, I'm willing to assign, let's just call it, if the funeral was $6,300, okay, I'm just making this up, but if, I'm willing to assign the first $6,300 out of this and have it paid directly from the insurance company, or just give you an agreement, a written agreement that the money, as soon as it comes to me, will go to you. But they will work with you because you can usually collect that money with most insurance companies within 6 weeks.
Okay.
And so they're used to having to do that. It's not that unusual at all, because a lot of families don't have the cash, but do have life insurance. So two things. One is gather up the information, and then two. But the problem is it's icky to talk about. It's awkward. Even just you and me talking about it's awkward, right?
Sure, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's your dad. He's estranged. That's icky. You having to fix this and take care of all of it when there's not much relationships, icky again. And now we're talking about the cost of funerals. Ugh, but it's just life.
Right.
It's just life. I mean,
right.
And so we're just going, what's the least expensive way we can take care of his final remains in a way that you 20 years from now are proud you did it that way,
Yeah, I mean, up until I found you, I was just going to put it on a credit card. So definitely want to plan that I don't do that. Because,
Well, they may ask you to do that, but I would just say that's not an option. Push back on them.
Okay.
Again, they're used to working with families that have access to the cash, but they've got to get it out of the estate somehow. That's a fairly normal transaction, because most people don't do good planning, and most people don't have any money.
Yeah.
So
well, and I would assume too that in that part of business as well, there's different levels. There's ways you can probably spend a lot.
Oh yeah.
So making those choices, I think, is important to be smart and to have the dignity and respect, of course, of your dad. Like you said, I like that advice though. Like from 20 years from now, you don't want to regret stuff.
And a lot of people have really strong opinions about their final resting place. And so if you're listening right now and you haven't really planned that and you care a lot, you can go to a funeral home and pre-plan. We do not suggest you prepay. Don't prepay for your funeral. But you can sit down and go, look, I don't want the freaking Bentley. I want the Chevrolet.
I want the Bentley.
I'm not going to care at this point what color the thing is. It's not going to be that color for but about 6 months anyway, so it doesn't matter, And so, you may have different, we have wicked sense of humor around the Ramseys, but yeah, I mean, you can decide all that for yourself, and then your heirs don't have to, because Rachel probably would spend a lot of money to make sure her dad rested beautifully. And, Daniel would put me in a box.
No, Denise would.
So I probably ought to go plan this so that I get what I want out of this.
Oh, man.
I'm going to be in heaven, so I'm not worried about what the box looks like.
That's
so I'm not sweating it. But
for sure.
It's such a weird discussion. And
it's hard. And I think, too, Erin, she's smart to be thinking all of this ahead of time.
Yes.
Because when a passing does happen, estranged or not, the grief comes. I mean, they're right. There's just the human spirit and emotion that goes through when you lose someone. And when as many decisions can be made ahead of time, it's better. That's why we talk about a will. That's why we talk about having a legacy drawer. So everything's in there. Like to limit as much as you can on the tactical side for your family is a way to say I love you as well.
Yep. So we have always said don't prepay, but always pre-plan. And how much detail you want to go to on pre-planning actually causes your wishes. If you would be aghast that your children spent $20,000 on the casket and the vault, then go over there and pick out the $4,000 one and tell them that's what you got. That's all I want. Or vice versa. You'd be aghast that they put you in the 4,000 and little cheapskates. Instead, I wanted to be in the 20. I mean.
Okay, so another way of looking at this too. I feel like I've heard you say this before, that in order to have life insurance, the reason you need life insurance is if someone is dependent upon your income. But if you don't have money, is there a reason to have life insurance, a small amount,
just for burial? For
burial costs. That would be a reason to get life insurance as well if there's no one.
If you can. But that's a $10,000 policy. I mean, it's not.
Right. No, totally.
You can get it with your checking account. It's not a big expensive item. But the idea of pre-planning through anything that's highly emotional. Certainly, having your will, life insurance, funeral plans, all those kinds of things it's a gift to your family, folks, for you to do that. And it's the end of the year. Go on mamabearlegalforms.com and you can get your will done in just a few minutes. It's very easy to do. If you don't have a will or you haven't updated it, you need a will. And, if you go ahead and do it like this week, then when everybody's around next week, you can tell them if they're in the will or not.
Okay. Sit down and have a discussion.
Go ahead and do a reading of the will while you're alive.
Christmas.
If you want to piss them off, do it while you're living. Yeah, okay.
No, but we say to do that, though, right?
Yeah, I would say to do that.
Conversation, though.
Don't surprise
everybody. You're joking about it, but for real, talk about the stuff. We have a meeting once a year with the Ramseys. We call it the When Dave Dies meeting. And it's like, when something happens to dad or mom or both, here's what it is. But as a grown adult child, I'm so thankful that you guys talk about it and communicate about it. So it is a gift. It really is.
It's my Monty Python meeting. I'm feeling much better. It's just a flesh wound.
Oh my gosh.
All right, this is the Dave Ramsey Show. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. You jump in, we'll talk about your life and your money. Rachel Cruz is my co-host today. Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, and my daughter. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Jessica starts off this hour in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hi, Jessica. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Thank you so much for taking my call, Dave and Rachel. I'm excited to be on.
Sure. How can we help?
Okay, a little background. My husband and I are in our early 30s. We are just finding Dave Ramsey, and by we, I mean me. We have $30,000 in our savings. We have about $165,000 in retirement, and all of our debt is just in our mortgage, which is about $103,000.
Mm-hmm.
So due to COVID, I'm now a stay-at-home mom of 3 young kids. So we're down to 1 income, and I'm just trying to decide how do I get my husband gazelle intense, just because we're down to 1 income and have never been here before, and because it's just our mortgage. He kind of thinks we're fine, everything's good, there's no reason to just be crazy about it, but I'm the nerd in the family and thinks, we can knock this out in 7 years. So do I need to just break a little bit, or do we just hammer it?
It's probably in between the two of you.
Okay.
Gazelle intense is no eating out, no restaurants, no life, because you're getting out of debt in baby steps 1 through 3, because you're broke and deeply in debt, and you have to sacrifice and work like crazy to get out of debt. Once you have your emergency fund in place and you're debt free, but your mortgage, you move on to baby steps 4, 5, 6. 4 is 15% of your income going into retirement, 5 is kids' college, and 6 is pay off the mortgage early. That is not gazelle intense. That is that is intentional, but not intense.
Okay.
And so, I probably want him paying more attention than he is, and I want you to lighten up a little bit, somewhere in between.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? What do you think, Rachel?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good analysis, because now that you're down 1 income, Jessica, it's naturally going to slow back. You guys have less money coming in. And so in order to do retirement still, in order to save for kids' college and putting money towards that, there may not be a ton right at this moment to throw extra at the house, depending on what you guys have.
What's he
what
make?
You're making.
We bring home monthly around $4,100.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you could put your 15% towards retirement, start something for the kids' college, and then any other money you can find in the budget. We're going to do some living with it. I mean, you need to buy that couch or upgrade that car or whatever. You pay cash for all that, so no more debt. And then we're going to go ahead and start anything extra we get, we're going to throw at the house. You get a bonus, you get a little inheritance, whatever it is, we throw it at the house, throw it at the house, throw it at the house. And most families will pay off that house in about 7 or 8 years, maybe 9. But we don't need to just say on his side, oh, it doesn't matter, everybody has a mortgage. No, everybody's broke. You don't want to be everybody.
Exactly.
But then on the other hand, you don't need to live on beans and rice and have no life at all, and everybody's miserable, so you can put $5 more on the mortgage.
Sure. Okay. We definitely have the wiggle room there. I think it's just getting him to the point of understanding that we don't have to be like everybody else.
Well, you don't want to. Normal's broke. 78%
Right.
of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 8 out of 10.
And I would give you guys credit, though, Jessica, because you guys aren't normal right now. I mean, you have $30,000 in savings, no debt, but a mortgage. I mean, you guys are not normal right now in a great way. So you guys have made great headway. But yeah, it's just that little extra at the mortgage. So you're already weird.
Yeah, you're just trying to keep him. You're just trying to keep him from nodding off at the wheel. He needs to just keep driving. That's all. So you're in pretty good. You're in really good shape. But in terms of just the way you communicate through this, really all you need to ask for and expect is intentionality, and not accepting, oh, well, everybody has a mortgage. That's not okay. On his side, he needs to be able to expect, well, we're going to save up and buy this item or do this thing, and we're going to do some of these other goals.
And you know what I find too, Jessica, for men specifically, when they see something visually, it changes the game a lot of times. So even just like taking your mortgage, putting it in an Excel sheet or do a mortgage calculator, but show him how much of the money is going to interest, show him exactly like what is happening. And if you paid off your house in 7 years versus 15, how much you're going to save in interest, how much extra you're going to have to go and invest, and just do a little mapping out. Since you're the nerd and you probably like this stuff, just do, okay, from 15 years from today, if you're 30, at 45 years old, if we still had the mortgage, here's what we would be financially. If we paid it off in 7 years and we invested for 7 years a mortgage payment, here's how much more we would have. So the visual standpoint for a lot of men helps when they see the math.
Agreed. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Lloyd is in Boise, Idaho. Hey, Lloyd, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you, Dave and Rachel?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
I want to see what you think about. I want to upgrade my motorhome, and I'm going to need probably around $50,000 to do that. I'm 58. My wife is 57. We're both retired. My net worth is about 1.5, and total in cash is about 1.2. But I want to know what you thought about where I should take that money out of to fund that motorhome. And I was thinking of, I have $33,000 in checking. I was going to take $10,000 out of there. I have $29,000 in savings. I was going to take $5,000 out of there. And my wife's Roth IRA, she has $72,000. I was going to take $15,000 out of there and take $15,000 out of my IRA or Roth, which is $78,000.
I'd leave your IRAs alone.
Leave those alone.
Let them grow tax-free. This other money's just sitting there.
So where would you take that money from then?
Well, you said there's a. I mean, you can pull 10 out of that first 33, and after that, you said there was another account that was sitting with cash, right?
Right, savings account has
was 79,000, wasn't it? Who's like you said that was
29.
Okay, I mean you can clean that one out. What was the one that was 79?
Oh, that's the Roth IRA.
Okay, don't want to touch that one. All right,
Okay.
so you got 39, 10, and 29. So where are we going to get the other 20 without tapping into retirement?
Well, that's what I was trying to wonder how we should do that.
You don't. I thought you said you had a lot of cash. How much is it all tied up in retirement? The whole $1.7 million?
No. About $1.2 million is in retirement, tied up in retirement.
Okay.
Now I do have a joint account that has $284,000 in it.
What's that?
That is just our regular account.
Your investment account? It's just an investment account?
Yeah, just.
But it's not in a retirement fund of any kind.
No, it's not.
Well, use some of that. Yeah, that's fine. Hey, man, you did great. Go buy an RV. You did it. Touchdown. You're $1.7 million. You did it. You worked your whole freaking life, man. Live like no one else, and later buy an RV. There you go. That's what I mean. $50,000 out of $1.7 million for a toy. You dadgum right. That's a good ratio. Do that. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Folks, it's an honor to tell you about the Army National Guard. Not only are they big supporters of our high school curriculum, but they also give you the opportunity to impact your local communities. Whether your goals are to get an education, serve your country, or have a better life, the Army National Guard can help get you there. Plus, they offer unbelievable financial benefits. Secure your future today. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. We're glad you're with us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Merry Christmas to you. Deanna is with us in Denver, Colorado. Hi, Deanna. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Hi, Rachel. Nice to talk to you. Thanks for taking my call.
Our pleasure. How can we help?
Well, I have about $300,000 in life insurance on myself. I'm a recent cancer survivor this year. Right now, there's no sign of the cancer, so that's great news.
Yes.
Thank you. I have a cash or a whole life policy for $61,000 that has a cash value of $6,300 right now. I'm trying to decide whether to cash it out and put it towards our debt snowball. It would move our debt-free date up about 6 months. But because of the cancer, me getting term life to replace it is not super great, and I'm just wondering what the right thing to do is.
Not going to happen this year at any reasonable rate, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you have how much life insurance on you? This 63, and you said 300.
Yeah, with the 63, there's 294. Without it, there's 233.
Okay, and what do you earn?
I make about $53,000.
Okay, so you're a little bit underinsured either way.
Right.
And you're married?
Yes, I am.
And what does your husband make, and how much insurance does he have?
He makes $50,000, and he has about $475,000 on him.
So he's in better shape on his insurance.
Yeah.
I wouldn't drop it right now.
Okay.
I hate whole life. And
I know.
99% of the time I would tell you to cash it out, but we need to get cancer further in the rearview mirror so we can get you more insurable and get you back up to about $500,000 total at some point. And when you can do that reasonably within your budget, part of doing that will be to drop this.
Okay.
But out of an abundance of safety, because you're just not going to get insurance for a little while. I mean, you can get it, but it's the cost is going to be astronomical.
And Deanna, your husband, is his a whole life policy or is his term?
No, his is term.
Okay. I was going to say for him to get it out if it was whole life.
That's a good point. Yeah. So you can call Xander Insurance and even talk with one of the reps and start to get a feel for. You can even run an application in if you wanted to, just to get a feel for because they'll bounce back and go, well, we can't cover you now, but we'll be able to cover you in 18 more months, or in 24 months, the rate is going to drop in half of what it would be today, or something like that. So you can kind of start planning. The further cancer gets in your rearview mirror, the more likely you're going to get insurance and the less it's going to cost.
Okay. Well, thanks for your advice. We've paid off a lot in the last 2 years thanks to you guys, and I just love the program, so thank you.
Thank you. We're proud of you. Well done.
Awesome.
You
Congrats.
did it. We didn't pay it. Good job.
And you beat cancer. That's even
Yeah, there's that little aside. Yeah.
bigger than the debt. It's a
Much
great job.
bigger. Much bigger. Teresa's in Tampa, Florida. Hi, Teresa. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you and Rachel for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Sure. How can we help?
I have a question. I work for a very small company. There are 7 employees. I'm a geriatric care manager, and I make about $40,000 a year. And I had a client that passed away a couple of months ago, and out of the blue, her family sent me a check written out to me as a gift. They said it was a small token of their appreciation for taking care of their loved one. And it's for $5,000.
Wonderful.
And that's a lot. That's a lot of money for me. But our company doesn't have a policy against gifts or about monetary gifts. So my boss is trying to figure out what she wants me to do. I have sent an email to the person that gave it to me and said, "Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it, but I don't feel like I can accept this money," but they are insisting that I keep it.
Good. They should. And it's none of your boss's business if he doesn't have a policy.
Well, that's kind of my question. I have in my heart, if they insist that I keep it, if I can't get out of it, I have definitely some charities that I want it to go to, and some things that I know were near and dear to my client's heart to
Teresa?
remember her by.
Teresa.
Yes.
No. You're supposed to have this money. You served these people, and they were grateful. You're supposed to enjoy this money. You don't need to feel guilty. You didn't do anything wrong. Have you ever gone to a restaurant and left a tip that was a really nice tip for somebody that gave you did a great job waiting on a table?
As much as I can do.
I know, but if you left a nice tip where you were kind of like, that was a good tip.
Yeah.
Did you want that person to feel guilty and go give it to a charity because they didn't deserve it? No, they deserved it. They waited on your table and did a good job, and you were honoring them, and it honored you to be able to do that, to give them that tip. Don't mess this up.
Oh.
This was for you. You did great. This is an atta-girl.
Well, thank you for that. I not only feel guilty, my boss has been kind of mentioning different ways she thinks it ought to be spent. And
I don't care what he thinks. It's not his money.
It's not her money. It was made out to you, right, from this family.
Yes. Okay.
Now, if I am your boss, I am going to be, not with you, but this raises a question in the business that you all are in. If I'm leading this organization, I think he should or she should put a policy in place that limits gifts, because we don't want the caregivers that people are paying for with our company to get wrong motivations where they try to snuggle up with the person they're taking care of in order to get money. And we don't want this to turn toxic. You didn't do that. But if I'm in your business, I want to make sure the caregivers are not being toxic in order to, try to get some sugar daddy thing going on.
Yeah, and that's the boss's problem, though.
Yeah, but that's their problem, and this just makes them recognize that. But they don't get a vote. This is your money.
Absolutely. I mean,
and I want you to enjoy it. If you want to give a little bit of it, I'll give you a maximum. No more than $500. The other $4,500 has to be spent to further your life and your income. This was for you, Teresa. Part of the art of giving is also learning to receive. And it's very hard for some folks to receive. But this is for you. Please don't give it away. It is dishonoring to the people that sent it to you. If they wanted it to go to the ministry, support a ministry that the person that died, they would have given it to that ministry. They didn't give it to them. They gave it to you.
And considering they wrote you a check thanking you, they probably have been giving elsewhere. They're probably a family of givers, and they probably said, "Wow, you took care of my mom. My mom loved Teresa. She probably that woman you took care of probably talked about you, Teresa, all the time to her family.
Yep.
And when she passed, they said, we want to bless Teresa because she blessed us. So you're good. You're good.
That's it. And we've had the pleasure as Ramseys to do that kind of thing many times, and we fully expect it to go to you. And if I were on this family side, I would be telling you the exact same thing. And by the way, they are telling you the exact same thing I'm telling you. You keep it and know it's not your boss's, and know your boss doesn't get a vote. If your boss wants to put a policy in place for future things, then that's okay. They can do that. And that might not be a bad idea.
And to kind of help ease the pain for you, Teresa, of taking this $5,000. We will say, like, if someone gets a big inheritance or a grandparent leaves a chunk of money to a grandson or granddaughter, whatever the case is, we do say, yeah, there's a level of you can honor their legacy really well and use this money maybe to pay off debt or to save or to do something great to further your life. You can just go spend it. I don't care. But for you to ease that a little bit, maybe you say, you know what, I'm going to help pay down my car and start working my way to get out of debt, whatever the case is.
Now, whatever you do with it, think of the lady that you cared for. Is she smiling when you're doing that with that money? And then you know you're honoring her legacy. She's in heaven watching you, and she's smiling. She probably is already smiling about this conversation. You're awesome, Teresa. You have a sweet, sweet heart. Oh, this is the Dave Ramsey Show. One of the things that makes the Dave Ramsey Show unique from other shows is that we genuinely care about our listeners. That's why we are very intentional about choosing our advertisers. Blinds.com offers high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices. And then their customer service is truly unbeatable. They make it simple to shop for blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping right to your door. And Blinds.com will help you every step of the way, just like they've helped thousands of my listeners with free design help by phone and online. Plus, they guarantee the perfect fit. Go today and take advantage of this week's special offer. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host this hour. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. 2021 is right around the corner. Thank God. This new year, take time to understand yourself and learn how to make healthy money decisions. Rachel Cruz, my co-host, is going to help you unlock the psychology, the strengths, the challenges that come with each, and the brand new 7 money tendencies found in her new book, Know Yourself, Know Your Money. I was trying to figure out what that said. Okay, and you want to pre-order it, because if you pre-order it before January the 4th, you can get $150 in free gifts. So you got about a week, and you need to get this done. So also, while you're there at DaveRamsey.com, check out the 90% off a lot of things there. Our Green Monday sale, lots of $10 items, including Rachel's Contentment Journal, which is now $10. Her former New York Times best-selling books are #1 bestsellers, are $10. My books are $10. So check it out online at DaveRamsey.com. Get the new book and get the ones that have been out a while for $10 each. Lots of bargains there. Lots of things that you can do. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Colorado Springs. Michelle is with us. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can I help?
So my husband and I are in small business for a few years, and a business mentor has been mentioning having key man insurance for our business on the case of our death. wanted to get your opinion on that, or if there's anything else that you would suggest that's in our wills regarding our business.
Are you the sole owners?
Yes, we own the business.
Okay. Well, key man insurance is typically used to buy a partner out. That's the most common use for it. The other time you would use it is just to replace the talent that is gone when the person passes away, the things that they're able to do that are unique to them, and so it's going to leave a gaping hole. And so, as an example, if you are driving the business and you're making the business run, and you not being there, it's going to walk with a limp for a while. Then, yeah, you might want to put some key man on you.
Okay. All right.
I've done that a time or two here, where I had a particular person that was at the stage of business we were in, that if they had passed away during that 3-year period of time or something, that it would have really left us, we would have been in a mess, because we were building the whole thing around that. And I have covered them for that. And I have kept some key man on me, just to make sure if something happened to me that it would backfill some of the, until the business got to where it can run without me, which it is now. It's easily running without me these days. But back in the day when it was all Dave dependent, then I carried some key man then. You do not use whole life insurance for this. You use term life insurance.
Michelle, what kind of business is it?
We do commercial cleaning, so we clean buildings kind of like yours.
Okay.
Okay. So what would happen to the business if your husband passed away?
Oh, that's the problem.
Okay.
He is the key man. Yeah.
Okay. So what does he do that makes him so key?
He is basically the operations manager. I mean, he and everything. I mean, he is the do everything guy.
Okay. And what's your top line? What's your gross revs in a year?
Oh my goodness. I believe about 300.
Okay. All right. I might put 100 on him or something like that to patch you through a third of a year, maybe 200 even, patch you through a portion, half of a year. But, if he passes away, you're either going to turn around and sell this thing, or you're going to put an ops manager in place to replace his day-to-day activities.
Right.
And so you just put, you just need a stopgap, because if you replace the ops manager within 30 days of him passing and they're competent, you're not going to lose much revenue. But just to make double sure, carry a couple of hundred on him extra, that wouldn't be a bad idea. It wouldn't be the end of the world. And that way you can cover for some lost revenue, maybe even a signing bonus to get a good ops manager in there. And I'll tell you what a lot of people do in your situation, too, and if that were to come up. They put an ops manager in there with the plan that person's going to buy the business from you, because that's your exit strategy then. So we see that a lot as well when we're working with EntreLeadership clients. Good question. Thank you for joining us. Melanie is in Portland, Oregon. Hi, Melanie. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. It's awesome to be able to talk to you.
You too. What's up?
My husband and I would like to know your opinion on whether we should pay off our house now or put our money into retirement in the kids' college. So this is what we've got. He just got a bonus yesterday.
Yay.
That could allow us to pay off the house and still have like 6 months of emergency fund left. The issue being he has not been paying the total 15% into retirement. We have no college funds for our kids who are ages 2 to 12.
What's your household income?
He works about $94,000.
And what's the bonus?
It's about $17,000, and we've got total with the savings would be about $119,000 in several different bank accounts that we have that we could use. In the house, we owe about $64,000 on it.
Mm-hmm.
You owe $64,000, and it is
you
bonus.
already have enough to pay off the house before the bonus.
We have enough to pay off
before the bonus.
Yes, we have. Yes.
So why haven't you paid it off?
I think because I'm risk averse, and my husband does have some health problems that
risk averse would cause you to pay off your house.
Okay.
Because you don't want a mortgage.
Yeah, well, that's my thought. But his thought is he doesn't have as much retirement as he wants. We have nothing for the
So
kids.
instead of sitting in a bank account.
Yeah, we've kind of dropped the ball the last couple of years. He just got this new job about a year ago, so we've not been making $94,000 for a long time. This new job just happened about a year ago, so we haven't quite adjusted to the additional
the extra
amount.
income. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I woke
that's part of
if I woke up in your shoes, I'd pay off the house. Go ahead and pay it off.
Okay.
I would make.
That was my opinion.
Okay, yeah, I would do it. Making sure that you still have, and I would have for you 6 months worth of expenses in the bank. You guys have that in addition, right?
Yes.
Yep. Or that would be out of the 119. So we say 3 to 6 months of expenses. I would go to 6 because of his health problems, all of that, and I just like having extra money there. It just feels good. The cash is there. So beyond that, you guys do need to take your 15% of your income, of his income, if you're not working, into retirement. That needs to be a discipline. You need to be doing that. And then anything extra that you guys have after you paid off the house, after the 6 months of expenses is there, throw some at the kids' college. I'd go talk to a SmartVestor Pro, look at an ESA, look at a 529 option, and start that as well. But you guys need to be disciplined. And that $94K that you're making a year, that 15% of that goes into retirement.
Okay, Melanie.
Great. Okay.
Wait a minute.
Well, thank you so much.
Wait.
Uh-oh. We got an addition. We got an addition.
Uh-oh.
He's coming in.
Uh-oh.
You've been sloppy.
Yes.
You cannot take part of Rachel's advice. It'll be bad advice. You have to take the whole thing. It is time to take this blessing of this job and this money and be very intentional with it. It's been lazy. It's been sitting in a lazy bank account. It's time to put the whip on it and make it work. Pay off the house, start the 15% with a SmartVestor Pro, and start the kids' college by the end of January. You have an assignment.
Okay.
By the end of January, no excuses. Put that money to work. It is sitting over there being lazy, and you allowed it. Don't allow it to be lazy. Put the whip on it. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. How would you like to make your money finally behave, like we were talking about with her? You know, you make it go and do what it's supposed to do because you have an exact plan, a clear path, and you know exactly what to do, when to do it, and then you go do it because you've got cheerleaders in your corner, coaches cheering you on. You got people telling you do it right, don't go left, go right, showing you exactly what to do. This is what happens when you get into Ramsey Plus. It's our step-by-step money plan that'll help you pay off your debt really fast. Faster than maybe you ever dreamed. And you can start spending and saving then how you want to because you don't have any freaking payments. You'll learn practical ways to pay off more debt and save for emergencies. You'll plan your spending in the world's best budgeting app, Every Dollar, and you'll track your progress. You can get a free trial to Ramsey Plus. All you got to do to get 2021 rocking and get your reset, get things started. I mean, after this year, you need to get started, right? Ramsey Plus for the free trial. Just text the word trial to 33789. Text trial to 33789. Mike is in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Hey, Mike, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave, how are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I feel like we have hit a sort of a brick wall. We are trying to build a house and are having no luck without a credit score so far.
Okay.
I've talked to some folks at Churchill, and according to them, they go through local lenders for a construction loan.
Yeah.
And every local lender requires a credit score to get started, even though we have at least 20% down, if not way more than that.
Okay.
And I just don't know what to do.
Have you tried a credit union?
I have. I've worked with my credit union I've been with since I was born, and they do manual underwriting, but they tell me they have to have a credit score to get started.
Bull.
And then they go from there.
I'm challenging that. They don't have to, because they're portfolioing that loan. They're not selling that loan to anyone. That's just an underling. You need to get to a manager, a senior, the president of the credit union, depending on what size the credit union is. They do not need a credit score to make a construction loan. That's absolutely asinine. I don't believe it.
Okay.
I would bust up on some people. Now, you know, Bank of America is not going to make you a construction loan without a credit score. I don't have any doubt. But I'm not doing business with those doofuses anyway. So,
neither am I.
But your local bank, I mean, listen, here's the thing. If you're dealing with a mortgage, like a Fannie Mae mortgage, you can get that manually underwritten, but most of the mortgage companies don't know how to do it because Fannie Mae requires a credit score to package them together, or properly done manual underwriting, which not many people other than Churchill know how to do. Okay, so that you will run into problems there. And there's a valid reason for that, because they're packaging those loans together. They don't keep those loans, they sell them. And in order to sell them, they've got to be packaged a certain way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And if the opposite of selling them in this business is called portfolioing the loan, meaning the bank keeps the loan in-house. The credit union is portfolioing this construction loan, or the local bank is, either one, and so they can make up whatever rules they want to make up. There is absolutely no pressure on them from an outside force of any kind that's requiring a credit score, and so it's just a dumb butt policy that you got to bust up into. Meaning you got to get somebody to use a brain. I've been with you my whole freaking life since I was born, and I got 20% down, and I've got the permanent mortgage set up to take out the construction loan. You're only going to have the loan on the books while the house is being built. When it's completed, the mortgage is sitting over here already pre-approved. The takeout letter is in my hand to take out the construction loan, and so this is almost a no risk for you. You know me, you know my income, you know my net worth and my other stuff, or I can show it all to you. And so the credit score is a completely bogus, non-related issue. You follow me?
Yes.
So that's how I'm talking to the president of the credit union, or the manager of whatever, or I don't know how big a credit union this is, but a lot of credit unions are small enough that the president's who you're going to end up talking to, which is fine. And it's, you know, it's just asinine. And so this is one of those things, you just challenge the policy. And you just say that, no, it's not okay. It's not okay that you're treating me, a customer, that way, as if I somehow didn't pay my bills. And they do not, if they're portfolioing the loan, if a bank is keeping the loan in-house, the bank can completely make up whatever rules it wants to make up, or waive any rules it wants to waive, because they're keeping the loan. It's just like if I'm loaning you money, I can make up whatever rules I want to make up. And if I go, well, you don't have a credit score, but you got all this other stuff, well, I don't need a credit score. It's okay. You know, and that's all we're talking about here. So, but yeah, you run into people who've forgotten how to think, and sometimes we have to remind them.
Well, that's the hard thing. It's just challenging the industry, right? And so when you don't have a credit score because you've gotten yourself out of debt and it's been a long enough time that it's not there, there are going to be things, insurance, renting an apartment, underwriting a mortgage, construction loan, all those things. You can run up against things because the industry has been so set, but there are ways around it all.
Yep. I mean, Anthony sat the other day, he's got it on YouTube, and called 15 apartment complexes and just asked the question. He said, I'm moving from out of town. I'm just getting started. I'm moving out of my parents' house. I don't have a credit score. Will you rent to me? And out of 15, 12 said they would.
Oh, there you go.
With a deposit. With an, you know, and he said, a couple of them had an extra deposit if you didn't have a credit score.
Yeah.
And a couple of them were just, no, it's no problem. There's no problem at all. If you got your deposit and you got, you know, they have to have proof of income. You have to have a job.
Yes.
But, you know, normal stuff that the apartment's going to look at. But this idea that no apartments will rent to you without a credit score, he got a 12 out of 15 that would. And he didn't say, I'm Anthony O'Neill. He just called and said, hey, I'm just checking. I'm moving from out of town. And he put it all on YouTube. So you can pull it up on the AO's channel and see that somebody says, oh, you have to have a credit score if you're going to rent an apartment. No, you don't. No, you don't. 12 out of 15. Dentists agree.
Apartment complexes agree.
Yeah, 12 out of 13 apartment complexes agree. All right, up next is going to be Steve. Steve is in Phoenix. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I appreciate you taking my call.
Sure. How can I help?
Yes, I have a mortgage with a principal and interest left of $277,000, and I have $1.6 million in my 401k. And I was wondering if I should pull that money out in one lump sum or spread it across a couple years for tax purposes to pay off my mortgage.
How old are you?
66.
Okay. You could sit down with your tax preparer and decide if you want to do it over 2 or 3 years just to not bump up a tax bracket. But I think you're going to bump up a tax bracket anyway, is my guess. I mean, you could look at tax planning this and doing it the most tax efficient way. I got to tell you, you've worked your whole life, and I'm guessing you did not inherit this money because it's in a 401k, right?
That is correct.
And you're 66 years old and you got $1.7 million. Way to go. Congratulations. I think you worked your whole life to have more peace than you've got with a mortgage. So regardless of the tax situation, if I were in your shoes, I'd probably just pay it off. I want to be out of debt. And I'm going to pay some taxes to do that because this is a taxable account when you cash out a 401k traditional. And so to get $277 out, you're probably going to take out $377, something like that. And so your net worth is not going to change one penny. It's going to be exactly the same. The only difference is you'll have more equity in a house and less equity in your 401k.
Still have 1.3. And still have 1.3.
In the 401k, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you're still going to be a millionaire in 401k alone, not to mention your paid-for house. I want the piece of a paid-for house, and it's just as there's few things I've done in my life that compare with the day I paid off my mortgage in the financial parts of my life. You take your shoes off and walk through the backyard, the grass just feels different. The borrower is slave to the lender. And I know you've got the money, and I know you can pay it off anytime you want. So, so my answer to that is do it. Yeah, I would do it. Good question, sir. Thank you, and congratulations on being an everyday millionaire. You're what makes America great. You guys, people like that guy right there, they're everywhere. They're all over America, and they're real quiet. Hardly anybody knows they're there. There's about 12 million guys just like him and her, and gals like him and her. They're all over the place. That puts this hour of the Dave Ramsey Show in the books. Thanks to James Childs, our producer, Kelly Daniel, our associate producer and phone screener. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, and my daughter is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Jerry's going to start us off this hour. Jerry's in Columbus, Ohio. Hi, Jerry. How are you?
Okay. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I was just calling. My wife and I are retired teachers in Ohio, and the way the pension plan is set up, when one of us passes, the other one still gets the same income. Do we need to have life insurance?
Sure.
Okay. So the next question is, what if one of us can't get a policy?
Well, then I guess you're not going to have life insurance. What do you mean? Why wouldn't you be able to get a policy?
My wife's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and we went through Xander, and they couldn't find a policy for us.
You're not going to make a market on that. That's right. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so So she's got early onset then.
Yes. And the thing is, we didn't go through your book, but we are on step 7. We have no debt. We're investing. We're giving.
So everything's paid off, and her income comes to you as long as you're alive once she passes through the school system, right?
Or vice versa.
Yeah. Either way. Okay. And how old are you guys?
She's just turned 70. I'm 64.
Okay. All right. And what other monies do you have other than a paid-for house and these 2 pensions?
We each have our own Roth IRAs. I've got a 403B.
How much?
And we've got in those accounts about $350,000.
Okay. I think you're all right to call yourself self-insured if you want to. Here's the rule of thumb. Okay. Number one, and the income, the pension probably does it. You're probably right. But with the other things, the paid-for house and the $350,000, it definitely is there because you've got some flexibility. So the question we ask ourselves is, at 64 years old, she's 70 and got early onset Alzheimer's or Alzheimer's diagnosis. If something happened to you, we've got to be concerned that she's cared for, right?
And we've already made that arrangement.
Yeah. Well, the actual tactical care is one thing, but paying for it with both of your pensions and the $350, I think she'd be okay, right?
Yeah.
So you're probably self-insured. You reverse the question, something happens to her, are you okay? Well, even more so, you're okay, right?
Yes, right.
So, yeah, you're self-insured. I'm good with that.
Okay.
The purpose of life insurance is to make sure the one left behind's got food, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're both retired, and like I said, we're actually still saving and giving.
Yeah. Well, way to go.
So we're still investing.
And you did all this on a teacher's salary?
Yes.
Congratulations.
2 teacher salaries.
Well done.
So.
That's beautiful, Rachel.
It's awesome. Love that.
Very cool. That's the position you want to be in. Well done. Amy's in Philadelphia. Hi, Amy. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Great. Thanks so much for having me. It's good to talk to you guys.
You too. What's up?
So I have a question for you all. Calling for my mom, actually. She was my grandmother's caretaker for years. She had to quit her job to take care of her. She did a great job. But unfortunately, she didn't save anything. And she now lives on her Social Security. My grandmother passed away a few months ago. And she did, though, just now inherit $80,000. So it's a great blessing. And she asked my husband and I to help her with this. So I already had her on an everyday budget. She lives in a small apartment, and we're just having her live on that. But we told her, this is her nest egg, and she really just doesn't want to mess it up this time. She said so. She wants to do it wisely, do it God's way, and we want to help her through that. So basically, I'm calling you to see what would be the steps. How do we walk her through this? How do we help her with investing? What would be the right way? Just not sure at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my first piece of advice would be to sit down with one of our SmartVestor pros, because they're going to be able to lay out things like what a mutual fund is, putting it in some kind of account like that grows, and that she's able to say, okay, how much is my lifestyle? How much do I need per year? How much return do I need? They're going to be able to really sit down and mathematically walk you through, because that's the answer she's going to need. How much does she need to live on per year? What can this money do? What can it grow to? How much can she live off of?
Yeah. So you've got her set up now living on her Social Security, right?
Right. And in our heads, we just thought, you don't touch it, and you just invest it.
And just let it grow a little. I mean, it'll grow $8,000 to $10,000 a year.
Okay.
Something like that if it's invested in good mutual funds. I'm probably not going to invest the whole 80. I'm probably going to set maybe 10 aside as her emergency fund.
Okay.
In a separate bank account that's not connected to the ATM, and it's not connected to her checking account or a debit card.
Okay.
So it requires effort to get to it. Okay.
Right.
And then I'm probably going to do exactly what Rachel said, and that's sit down with a SmartVestor Pro, because you don't want to invest the money and she starts watching the news and the stock market goes down and she starts calling you in a panic. Instead, she needs to have understood what she's doing enough. She doesn't have to become a professional investor, but she needs to understand. And what Rachel's explaining is exactly that they'll sit down with her and not only help with the budget and, we're not going to touch this money. We're going to leave it alone, Mom. You're going to live on your Social Security. And, okay, we're going to let this money roll in each month. and each year as it grows. And but you don't want her losing sleep over this.
Because of the market
feeling
volatility.
like she did something wrong. And the way to solve that is to teach her and to teach you, both of you, and to have a person in your corner that you trust that has the heart of a teacher. So click SmartVestor at DaveRamsey.com and sit down with them, and they can help you do every bit of that. Very good question. Very good job. Well, if you're looking for some great Christmas deals, there's still some out there. Our team is using every reason we can to give stuff away. We're now running a sale, the Green Monday sale, all week this week at almost 90% off. And for the first time ever, we've even marked Rachel's Contentment Journal down to just $10. Plus, the window to pre-order the Know Yourself, Know Your Money book, the brand new book by Rachel Cruz, is closing. If you do pre-order, you get $150 worth of free add-ons, but you got to do that before January 4. And believe it or not, that's just around the corner. It's here. The book ships January the 5th, so no more excuses. This new year is the time to understand yourself and learn how to make healthy money choices. And Rachel Cruz will help you unlock the psychology, the strengths, the challenges that come with each of the brand new 7 money tendencies found in her book. Check it all out online at DaveRamsey.com. The sale on all this stuff ends this coming Sunday, and you don't want to miss out on this. Pretty good stuff. It's fun.
Lots of fun stuff happening.
Yeah.
Closing out 2020.
A lot of people are going to be helped with this book.
That's my prayer, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people. And tens of thousands have already bought it. And it's when they get it and start reading it, they're going to spread the word. It's a very helpful set of materials. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs.
CHM is not health insurance, but it is Christians helping other Christians by sharing each other's medical bills.
The medical bill sharing from CHM was exactly the way the website described it. There were no surprises, no bait and switch, no hidden agenda. CHM did everything they said they would by sharing all of our eligible needs.
We like that it's a nonprofit ministry and that we were being better stewards of our money, all while helping other families.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Get started today and check us out at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget.
We absolutely believe in it.
Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jay is in Atlanta. Hi, Jay. Welcome to the show. How can we help?
Hey, Dave. Rachel, thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
Yes. So I'm 24 years old, and I got about $18,000 saved up in a Roth TSP account from when I was on active duty in the military. So my question is, should I roll that over to a Roth IRA right now, considering the fact that I'm currently in school and I'm not working at the moment?
You've left the military?
Yes.
Yes, I would. It's Roth to Roth, so there's no taxes involved, and you're not going to activate anything. And you've got 8,000 mutual funds to choose from, where the TSP has about 6 options. and C option being the most valid of all of them. But you can do a lot better than the TSP options in the open market with mutual funds to pick for your new Roth. And so, yeah, it's pretty simple. Get with a SmartVestor Pro at DaveRamsey.com and roll it to a Roth IRA. We put it across 4 types: growth and income, aggressive growth, and international. We always tell you to take your 401k or your retirement plan, whatever it is, with you when you leave, with a direct transfer rollover to an IRA at the other on your own, because you've got more selection and more control. It's pretty simple. And same goes here. Thank you for your service, by the way. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jessica is in Canada. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, Dave and Rachel. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm currently on baby step number 2. I'm $60,000 in debt. I recently started listening to you, so I'm being intentional. I'm going at it gazillion times, and I've paid off $12,000 so far.
Nice.
Thanks. So I grew up with a very unstable home when it comes to money. My mother is a very big spender, and she never, ever had enough money for the month. While I don't blame anyone else but myself for my bad financial decisions, she's the one who sort of pushed me or guided me in the direction to make poor financial decisions, and all my debt I have is credit cards and loans. So now that I'm being very frugal, she thinks I'm completely crazy, and she was pushing me to file for bankruptcy, and every time I see her, it's a constant battle because we're on different pages, and I can't seem to make her understand that what she's teaching is wrong and what she's doing is wrong. So I wanted to know your input on how to approach that situation.
How old are you, Jessica?
I'm 28.
28, okay. Well, the hard part about the relational aspect of money is that some people just don't understand. And the hard thing is you can't control them to force them to see that they are wrong. So I would say on her end, and unless she's asking and wanting to learn, I wouldn't push, your stuff on her because she's not asking, and you talking about it, unless it's celebratory and you're like, hey mom, I just paid this off and I'm excited. And you have that kind of conversation knowing that it's probably she's probably not gonna have the best response. I would probably just leave finances out of the discussion. If she keeps bringing it up, then there needs to be a boundary put in place because it's not worth the strain on your relationship. You're doing something that is wise with your money and you're going down this journey. She doesn't agree. And so being able to put up a boundary and say, hey mom, since you keep bringing it up, this is what I'm doing. I'm 28 years old. This is why I'm doing this, because I want stability. I want peace. I want money in the bank. And you can give her your reasons why and say, and if you don't understand, that's okay, but I need your respect enough for me not to negatively keep talking to me. Do you know what I mean? Just having that.
Sometimes you have to just have a boundary that says we can't talk about this subject because if we are going to talk about this subject, we are not going to do well. And I'd rather do well. I'd rather have the relationship. For instance, I have a relative that votes wrong. They just vote for the wrong people every time. They have a knack for it, and they blindly vote for one party regardless. And which I have no use for voting wrong or voting for the wrong party regardless, or voting for a party regardless. No matter what, I vote for that party. No, that's just ridiculous. And so, but I love them. And what I have figured out is they're not going to change. And so just constantly berating them about it is not going to help. And talking to them about it is not going to help because it makes me mad. So the best thing to do is just not talk about politics with that relative because they're just wrong. And that's kind of what you may have to do with your mom is just like, Mom, I can't talk about money with you because you and I don't agree on this, and we're just going to find something else to talk about because we love each other. And it's just, how's the weather? How about them Titans? It's just, it's just, how about that football team? You just kind of find something else. And you put that boundary in place like Rachel's saying, but it's very difficult to do. And probably the most difficult boundary is mother to grown daughter. That is one of the more difficult relationship boundaries because both are relationship animals and they feel entitled. They feel like they have rights to speak into each other's lives. And so they don't, sometimes they just don't do well with it. And it's okay to set some boundaries in place.
And Jessica, I would say for you, I mean, I heard a little bit of your tone and the way you even framed up the question that there's a little bit of hurt and resentment towards your mom. I mean, you said the way I handle money today is because of what I learned from her, and I'm just in a terrible spot because of it. And so there is this interesting dynamic now that you are a grown adult and you're working through, oh, wow, my mom, did things in my childhood that I don't agree with. And now, because that's how I was raised, I almost just didn't even know to do any better. So that's how you got to this place. And
but I'm glad you're changing everything, because there's a rule, Jessica, and the rule is once you're 30, you can't blame your parents anymore.
Okay, you always say that. I don't agree. It's not that I put blame, but there is real hurt and things that go on.
No, I know, but you can't blame them. You can be hurt, but you can't blame them.
Here's my quote. I love this quote. When it comes to talking about your parents, you're not here to bash them. And I heard a little bit, right? Like, we're not here to bash them. We're not here to defend them. We're here to tell the truth. So tell the truth, Jessica. Like, tell the truth of what you experience and then learn from that and grow. And so I think both of the other ends, extreme, are unhealthy because you're not getting to the root emotion of your mom. So there's a relational aspect there too, Jessica, I would really dig into. And if there's a level of hurt and resentment, you may talk to someone about that. I mean, I think all of that is very healthy.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
You always say that. Once you're 30, you can't blame your parents.
Well, you can't.
You
can't. It's not. You're not blaming them. Okay.
Not blaming.
Okay.
But
we're in agreement. You just don't like the statement.
But awareness that once you're past 30, you can still have hurt from your parents.
You can have hurt, but you can't blame them.
But I'm not speaking out of experience.
Yeah.
He has never, ever done anything.
Yeah, look. Oh, yeah.
We should start a new radio show.
Yeah, we just start a new one here. Confessions.
Confessions of the Ramseys.
So there's a difference in hurt and blame, though.
All right, Dr. John Deloney, tell me.
Well, you can still you can be hurt.
Yes.
And admit that there's a wound there.
Yes.
But you can no longer let that be the reason that you're not winning.
Yes, 100%.
That's what I mean. You can't blame them.
100%.
It's not blame is it's someone else's fault. I'm not winning.
Yes.
And that is not your parents' fault. You're not winning once you're 30. It's your fault.
I don't know why you keep saying 30.
It's just, I just made it up. It's not a scientific fact. It's just a Davism.
All right, go ahead.
She's got 28. She's got 2 years to go. She's still okay.
Oh, good. Yeah, Jessica. You
got plenty of time, Jessica. You're going to make it. Oh, crud. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money.
But that's a lot of what I talk about, though, in the new book with the money classrooms. So she grew up in an unstable money classroom where the emotional communication was very stressed and the verbal communication was probably very open, knowing what her mom is now. So she felt a lot of that conflict and tension growing up. And so that unstable money classroom, it does affect you. All the classrooms affect you.
And that does leave a hurt. It leaves a wound that you learn to overcome.
Absolutely. Yep.
Not to blame for your dysfunction. And that's why Know Yourself, Know Your Money is going to be great.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Folks, it's an honor to tell you about the Army National Guard. Not only are they big supporters of our high school curriculum, but they also give you the opportunity to impact your local communities. Whether your goals are to get an education, serve your country, or have a better life, the Army National Guard can help get you there. Plus, they offer unbelievable financial benefits. Secure your future today. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about life and money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Zach is in Nashville. Hey, Zach, how are you?
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Thank you for taking my call. Okay, my question is, me and my wife, we are both in our early 30s. I'm currently 34. She's 32. We're pretty well debt-free. I guess my question is, I owe $80,000 on my house right now. I'm in the position to pay it off. I haven't invested in anything, and I'm still learning that process. But I guess, do I pay the house off now, or do I maybe start the Roth IRAs or go that route? I don't know what the best answer is, and that's the reason for my call.
You said, Zach, that you can pay off the house. So does that mean you have, I'm guessing, a lot of savings?
Yeah, I've got about $100,000.
$100,000.
Me and my wife both, and like I said, that'd leave us about 20.
Mm-hmm.
I've been pretty focused on paying the house off. If I keep track right now, I'm paying extra to the principal. It'd probably put me at about 5 years. I guess I would have it paid off.
Yeah. How much do you make a year?
About 62.
That's great. Well, what I would do, Zach, is considering you have no other consumer debt, you have a good amount of savings, I would work to still fund some money into retirement. I mean, the earlier you can start this, the better off you're going to be. Even 3 to 4 years, the fact that you guys can start in your early 30s is going to be huge. And so I would fund about 15% of your income into retirement. So opening up a Roth IRA, if your work has a 401k, do that. Do you guys have kids?
Yes, I've got 2 little girls. One's 7 and one's a year and a half.
Okay. Do you have any college savings for them at this point?
I do not. I'm very new to the baby steps, and like I said, I was trying to figure out what the best step would be.
No, you're doing great.
Being in the position.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you're in a fantastic position on paper for sure. So I would fund 15% of your income into retirement. Then I would go and open up some college funds for your girls. So either an ESA or a 529 plan, put some money there. And then anything extra that you have that you want to throw at the house, I would do that. I would make sure you still have an emergency fund on the side of 3 to 6 months of expenses, but anything beyond that, I would look to be putting the house down.
Did I hear you right that you have $100,000 in savings and $80,000 pays the house off?
Correct. Yes. Okay. I know that money's just sitting there.
I know. I'm just asking if I understood you right, and I wasn't being sarcastic.
Yes.
So if I understood you right, then Rachel's advice is perfect. But I would write a check today and pay off your house.
Okay, and that's kind of been my question.
Yeah, then the other $20,000 moves over into your emergency fund, and then out of your income without a house payment, boom, right?
Yes,
in your monthly budget, you set up a draw going into your 401k or your Roth IRAs like Rachel's talking about, or your company's plan or whatever, or sit down with a SmartVestor Pro, and you may want to sit down with them anyway, and then have, if you just start $100 a month per kid, it would go a long way towards a college as young as your kids are. And so, I'd sit down and get at least $100 a month going per kid and at least 15% of your income going towards retirement. And without a house payment or any other payments in the world, you're going to have plenty of wiggle room in this budget to do that.
Yeah, and that's kind of been my question, is like, because it frees me up a lot once I pay the house off.
Yep.
And I just didn't know if that was the best move.
Let me just tell you, I've been doing this 30 years, and I've been telling people for 30 years to pay off their house every chance I got. I've never had anybody call me up and was pissed because they paid off their house.
Exactly.
Like, Dave, that's the worst advice. You ruined my life, Dave. I've never heard that, not one time. People get pissed at me about a lot of stuff. I get a lot of hate, but it's never been about paying off your house. So apparently I make most people mad about a lot of things, but that one, people don't get mad about that one, Zach. Hold on, I'm going to give you a copy of the Total Money Makeover, which has the baby steps outlined in it on steroids. Every detail, every nuance, every question answered about the baby steps shows you exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And it will verify the conversation that you had with Rachel and I. And put you in a great position here, brother.
And what an amazing thing. 34.
Yes. Way to go, man.
Paid for house tomorrow.
Ding.
Zach, if you wanted.
Just like that. I mean, the number of people do that, almost none. Nope. Almost none.
And then to the point, though, Zach, of not having the house payment, you have no other debt. when your income comes in and you're completely debt free, you have no other payments, that 15% is easily put away. And then you guys, because I would think living with this $100,000 of cash over here feels good. Like there's a level of security there. And when that strips down to 20, there's going to be like oh, wow. But building that back up without a mortgage payment is going to happen so quickly.
Well, $20,000 is plenty of an emergency fund with a $60,000 income.
No, it is. But I'm just saying, just the thought of, we could go buy a car. We could do other things with that money.
Yeah.
That short-term savings is going to happen so quickly without that mortgage payment. So that feeling of it.
But listen to this. This is what I think. Cool. 32 to 62, 32 to 67, 35 years. If he just invests, if he never gets a raise. Now, if you go 40 years at your job and you never get a raise, you're a loser. Okay? But if he never gets a raise and he only invests 15%, not more, just 15%, that's going to, in good mutual funds, in a Roth IRAs, he's going to have between $5 and $7 million, making $60,000 because he did this so early. That kid's on fire, man. That's cool. See, that's why we tell you to pay off the house, because it makes you rich.
That's right. Yeah.
And you can be in a position to be outrageously generous. You know what you can do with $5 to $7 million? Anything you want. I mean, and what if I'm half wrong? He's still okay. He's still okay. That's unbelievable. So this is why nobody gets mad at me for telling you to pay off their house. They get mad about everything else, but they don't get mad about that. Open phones at 888-825-5225. James is in Philadelphia. Hi, James. How are you?
Hi, Dave. How you doing today?
Good. How can we help?
Good. I just had a quick question. So my wife is in $139,000 of student loan debt. We recently just purchased a home about 2 months ago. Really, the only debt that we have is the house and her student loans. We have no car payments, no credit card debt, nothing like that. I just want to know the best way to tackle her student loan debt. Whether we should just pay half of it and then refinance it, or just save up for the whole thing. And I just want to know the best way to tackle it.
How much do you guys make, James, a year?
So my wife makes about $42,000 a year. I am a loan officer. I work basically commission, but my year to date should be about $260,000 this year.
Why did she go $140,000 in debt, making $40,000 a year? What is she doing?
So she went to a private institution. She was originally going for fashion merchandising and marketing. Very niche market to really break into. So it was pretty hard to find a job. But yeah.
So here's what I would do. If you make $300,000 a year and you have $130,000 in debt, I would pay off your debt in 1 year.
Okay.
140 from 300 leaves you plenty to live on.
Okay. We have about $66,000 in the bank now.
Good. Write that check against it, and then you're paid off in 6 months.
Okay.
You're not going to do any of this, are you?
No, I am. It's just it's hard to let go of the money.
Yeah.
That would be draining the bank account. That would be completely draining.
You have to get rid of this. Sally Mae is an ugly old woman, and she's in your house, and she won't leave until you throw her out. And the faster you throw her out, the faster you're going to get on with your life. Let me tell you the problem with paying off your student loan debt. You're not going to do it. That's the problem. You're going to have to get on this like it matters. And if you don't, it's going to hang around for another 10 years, and you're going to have a bunch of theories and still have Sally Mae in your bedroom. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. scripture of the day, Hebrews 13:16. Do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the purpose of life is not to be happy, it is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. And oddly enough, by the way, I'll add that will make you happy. Go figure. Michael is with us. Michael's in Dallas, Texas. Hey, Michael. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
How you doing, Dave? Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I had a quick question. I had a two-part question, if I'm able to have enough time. So my uncle pretty much just purchased a new vehicle, and I was trying to teach your ways to him and, just trying to find out why he didn't just buy it out cash when he has the money available to him. And his response was, you always need something open, a line of credit open. And in my head, I didn't want to argue with them, so I'm just thinking in my head, well, why would you want the line of credit open if you have the cash and you have no debt?
You're right.
Except for the debt you just created.
Yeah, that's just people have these sayings around debt because debt is so normalized, and they don't even think sometimes when they say stuff about how ridiculous what they're saying sounds. I mean, what he just said is, I always want to be in debt.
Yeah.
It's kind of a dumb
statement. He doesn't have a house payment or anything like that, so that's all I was just like, but you have a credit card, you get flyer points and stuff like that. Okay, I can understand that, but no.
I don't even understand that.
My second quick question was, I have my kids in a Gerber savings plan, and I was trying to find out, because me, myself, I have a Roth account, and I was trying to see about how do I go about to see if I'm able to transfer the funds that are in their Gerber account into a Roth or an IRA, or what would be good for them to
It wouldn't be a Roth or an IRA, it'd just be opening a 529. It's not transferring. You just cancel that garbage and get a good mutual fund in your kid's name for a 529 plan. Gerber is baby food company. They're not an investment company, and they sell gimmick whole life insurance as a savings plan that's a piece of crap, and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So if I were in your shoes, I would get with a SmartVestor Pro, open a 529 or an ESA for your child, and just cash this stuff in and use that money to fund it.
Yeah, okay, go a step further, because you said it's horrible. Because I get, as a mom, when I had babies, all the baby stores know you're pregnant, so you get all these brochures. So you get, I got so many of those flyers. And it's horrible because the rate of return of what they're taking is so small. Explain, when you say it's horrible, to a new listener, what does that mean?
Well, it's a whole life insurance policy for children. And so
Which they don't need life insurance.
It's a savings vehicle.
Yeah.
That pays almost nothing, and it's housed in the life insurance world. And anytime you get around insurance of any kind that is a gimmick, meaning it's aimed at some kind of little weird corner of the world, like this is life insurance for children, for babies, for God's sakes. Or it's a savings program for babies, brought to you by the same people you buy your baby food from. That right there is a clue, So, gimmicky insurance is like cancer insurance, okay? You have health insurance that covers you if you have cancer. You don't have heart attack insurance. Why are you buying cancer insurance? Because you already have health insurance. That's why you're not. And those are gimmicky things. Another gimmicky one is accidental death. Like you're more dead if you die by accident. You're still just dead. It doesn't matter. You're not double dead, and so your family needs money regardless of how you die. Well, I'm likely to die by accident. No, you're not. That's why it's so cheap. It's a gimmick. It's why it's like an extended warranty that only covers one side of the television. The other side it doesn't cover. It's like
right. Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. So you just don't get into that, and then you have other issues. So yeah, it's just a bad, gimmicky, ineffective, low return life insurance product for children, and it's Yeah, it's one of those things where the parents, the company knows you have this emotional need to, when you have a baby, to do something good for them and think about their future and your noble calling as a parent. And they tap into all that and sell you crap. All right. Seth is with us in Dallas, Texas. Hey, Seth, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I have I made a genius decision and bought a car. I got it on a 0% car loan and could potentially pay it off. It's a 5-year loan, but I could pay it off in about a year's time. Does it make sense for me to put that money in some sort of investment vehicle, or should I hang on to the loan at 0%?
I have met with thousands of millionaires. I've never met one that said, Dave, I made all my money borrowing 0% on my car and investing it.
Sure.
So the answer is get out of consumer debt, because that's what all millionaires do. They stay away from payments of any kind. All the studies, all the data points we have from 30 years of doing this all say that the people who build wealth are the ones that stay out of debt of any kind. Or if they find themselves in debt like you have, sir, they work their way out as fast as they can. And so I would either sell this car or I would get it paid off in about 9 or 10 months.
I could do that. That's pretty much what I was looking for.
Yeah, and then you take those payments. You never do this again. You pay cash for your cars from now on, and that's the shortest distance between where you are and millionaire. That's the point. Because your most powerful wealth-building tool is not the manipulation of interest rates. It is your income not given to some stinking bank in the form of payments. And so stay out of the payment business and use the power of your income to build wealth with. And that's what the borrower is slave to the lender means. It changes everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when your income is completely freed up and you invest it and you just watch it grow while you're sleeping. I mean, just goes, it literally is working for you.
Money works harder than any employee you'll ever have. It works all the time. It works 24/7. It never gets sick. It doesn't whine. It just works. It's amazing. I mean, it works hard. Brian is in Owensboro, Kentucky. Hey, Brian, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
How's it going?
Good.
So my question is, I have a hard time saving money. My wife gets on my butt about not saving, but my problem is I grew up not having a whole lot. So when I get paid, I'm like, I want it, I'm buying it, I'm getting it now, instead of thinking about anything else.
Okay.
So I need to know, how can I break myself of that habit and save for my family? I'm getting ready to...
How old are you?
I'm 43, but can I give you one example?
Sure.
I'm getting ready to do a job in Spring Hill, Tennessee, next week at the GM plant.
Yeah.
I will be there for about 3 weeks, and in that 3 weeks, I will make about $11,500.
Good for you. And now you're growing up, and you decided that you probably shouldn't spend it all on Friday and then say, thank God it's Friday, oh God it's Monday.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but my big thing is like,
I'm short on time. Rachel, I'm going to make Rachel jump in here. What do you think?
Well, Brian, I mean, I'm glad you're recognizing it. So I would sit down with your wife. You guys need to do a budget together, and you need to start saving. You need to save $1,000. You guys need to be working to get out of debt, and then save 3 to 6 months of expenses. And it's literally the habit of changing. And you're always going to be a natural spender. It's okay. I'm a natural spender. Actually, you're a natural spender. But you have, if on that.
Why do you save?
For me, my motivation to save is so that I can do stuff.
Yep.
So for some people,
to buy something better later.
And I bet your wife would say she saves for security. She wants the level of security to know we're going to be okay. I save so that I can do things. So it's not like you can never do anything again, Brian. You're just going to save for it and make sure you have that cushion, though, of an emergency fund.
Yeah, I figured out I can spend more if I save, and I can give more if I save. And so I don't save for saving's sake. I save for those other things. And that's the way you can do it.
There's a purpose to it, yeah.
That puts this hour of the Dave Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.